Hello and welcome back to my channel, and this video has been coming for an eternity. I've been meaning to film it. It's something that nobody talks about, you know, for Etsy or in general, why your art does not sell. So I'm going to give you the top 5 reasons why the art that you create is not selling. I don't think I've heard anyone talk about this, and there's some really fundamental reasons why so many of you artists, and when I mean art, I mean something you can stick on your wall. So mixed media, a print, a painting, something that goes on the wall that you created or you designed, okay? So top 5 reasons, if you're selling art and you're struggling and you're thinking, what, you know, why isn't my stuff selling? These are the top 5 reasons why. Reason number 1, and this is, I don't know, I see this literally, I know people say I see this all the time, but I really do. Reason number 1, and this is incredible. You are not photographing your art as art. Okay? You're not photographing, taking pictures of your art as art. So you're trying to use mock-ups where you just show the picture as a picture with no frame, no room where the art is sitting, and it's literally just a picture of your print or your piece of artwork, so that any customer looking at it doesn't know whether it's an art painting, an art print, it could be clip art, a PNG or something. It could just be a design you've got for sale. You've got to photograph your art as art. So have it in a frame, in a room, well lit, center of the shot, showing everybody that it's actually a painting. I know this sounds bonkers. But almost every client I talk to about art, when I look at their listings, when I look at their product photos, it's not photographed like art should be photographed. That's reason number 1. Reason number 2, and this, again, I've got to say it, the art is a bit rubbish. Okay, it's got to be said. This has to be said. Yes, it's like beauty is in the eye of the beholder, art is in the eye of the beholder, okay? Just because you think your art is good doesn't mean lots of customers and potential buyers agree with you and think that the art is good as well. If you're listing lots of products in your store of your artwork and none of it is selling, literally none of it is selling, you've got to at least step back and ask yourself the question, is my art any good? Who have I qualified with to say that my art deserves to be sold and, you know, and people will want to buy it? Ask your partner, ask your friends, ask your family, ask people you don't know in a forum, right? Because sometimes family members and friends are biased. Get some feedback. This is one of the top reasons the art just isn't good enough. You've got to remember that anyone buying your art needs a reason, and usually an emotional reason, to connect to the artwork and buy it to put up in their room. It's incredibly personal, isn't it? And if the art's no good, no one's going to buy it. Get some kind of qualification that the art is actually decent. These 2 reasons alone are what scupper or ruin most sellers' chances of making decent sales. Let's get on to number 3, and this is the killer. This literally kills most art stores dead, and that is one in stock. Okay? This kills most art stores. Because you're painting, because you're drawing, because you're doing mixed media, whatever it is that you're doing, mostly, or a lot of the time, you've only got one of them. Right? But if you've got only one in stock and you sell that painting, great that you sold the painting, but now you've got nothing in stock. You've lost visibility. There's no product collecting visibility. If you had 10 in stock and you sold one, you've still got 9 left, and the visibility of that product rises, and then you get more people to see it. This kills art stores. You've got to find a way to have more than one in stock. Pipeline your listings, pipeline your paintings, have similar paintings, right? Let's say you did a painting of an apple, right? And you sell one. Have more apple paintings to list back down onto the listing that's sold, to give the listing more stock and Etsy more chance to sell the listing for you. More stock means higher visibility. One in stock means no visibility. You can't keep putting paintings up, having them sell out, and then having nothing to replace them but a different painting in a different listing with no sales history. This is a killer, an absolute killer. This is why you're not selling in your art store, along with these two reasons as well. Let's get on to reason number 4. And again, look, these are difficult points. These are difficult points to accept. And this is another one, really simple, but affects so many artists. You are too expensive. You're too expensive. You know, there's got to be a reason why someone will part with $30, $50, $100, $200. And when you price yourself at different levels, especially the higher price points, there needs to be a good reason as to why you're charging that price. Okay, you're not a famous artist. You're not a brand. You're not a household name. You can't command the prices from your brand and your years of history, right? You've got nothing but the art that you portray and you sell, the prices and the way you photograph it and the way you video it. Don't overprice yourself. Don't get into that mistaken mindset. If I sort of charge $100, $150, $200, $250, I'm saying that I'm premium. I'm reserved for higher quality establishments or higher quality homes where people have more income to pay for the art. Look, Etsy is a sub $100 marketplace. A sub $100 marketplace. Most of the big sales, most of the revenue comes from products under $100. You can't be walking in with $200, $300, $400 pieces of art with nothing to back it. Look, if you've got something to back it, you've got a brand, you've got history, you've got customer base, you've got a following, of course you can. But most of you artists don't have this. So you can't charge those sorts of prices. Try to keep your prices as low as you can whilst making it still worthwhile for you to do your art. And look, if it takes you 2 weeks to make something and you're sitting there, well, I've got to charge $400 for it, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. You're going to have to find efficiencies in your workflow to make that $400 shrink down. It's too high, too expensive. You can see how big these points are now. How many people are going to get crushed as artists by this? Okay, number 5. What have I got here? Yes, number 5. This is again a huge problem. These are all big red flags, big signposts, right, as to why your art isn't selling. Okay, number 5. Really straightforward, but artists don't consider this. No marketplace understanding, right? No marketplace understanding. So you're trying to sell your art, but you're not looking at your art, looking at the images that you paint, looking at the context, looking at the meaning, asking the question, who would be buying my art, right? Who's buying it? So on Etsy, as an example, you've got to understand the Etsy marketplace. If you're trying to sell art on Etsy or eBay or anywhere, or Amazon Handmade, you've got to understand the market and who's there to buy it. On Etsy, it's primarily women, and primarily the age range is 25 to 45, right? So you've got to think, well, what kind of art are these people buying? These people tend to have families, tend to be in relationships, tend to have jobs and children, right? Tend to have homes that they rent or buy. So what art, realistically, are these guys putting in their homes? Are they putting in crazy, crazy Japanese cartoon art or horror art, or, are they really en masse putting those kinds of artwork into their homes? No. So think about the marketplace you want to sell in. And if, as an example, Etsy isn't the place for you, you've got to find the marketplace that is for you and perhaps set up a website. And by the way, you should have a website, because then you get access to the biggest market, the global market. And then you learn very quickly, or hopefully more quickly, who your market is, who your target buyer is. Because who you think your buyer is versus who it actually is, two completely different things. And Etsy has its marketplace dynamics, and you need to pay attention to that if you want to sell art. Etsy may or may not be the marketplace for you and your art. Big points here, 5 big reasons. These should be signposted everywhere if you want to sell art, anywhere really. You've got to understand these 5 points. Let me know if you're an artist and whether this makes sense to you. Are you committing one or more of these points that I've raised here? I know it's tough, but get into my comments and let me know if this is you. Let me know if this helped you, if you're an artist and this has helped you understand a bit more why your art isn't selling. And as always, if you want to work with me, don't guess. Get into my booking now button. It's coming up on the screen. This gets you a free discovery call with me, one-to-one on Zoom, so I can work with you and talk to you about how I can improve your Etsy business in a paid consultation or mentoring. So I look forward to catching you in the comments and catching you in a consultation. Cheers.